Hello, welcome to Wikifiends. I'm your host, Joe.
I'm David.
And we're the Wikifiends. We're going to be reading some Wikipedia articles and giving you our opinions on them. So the first one I have is Timothy Dexter. Timothy Dexter was an American businessman noted for his writing and eccentricity. He was born in Malden, Massachusetts in 1748. He had little schooling and started work as a farm laborer at the age of 8. When he was 16, he became an apprentice to a leather dresser. He moved to Newburyport, Massachusetts, where he married a wealthy widow and bought a mansion. Now here's getting into his business exploits. At the end of the American Revolutionary War, he bought large amounts of depreciated continental currency that was worthless at the time. After the war was over, the U.S. government made good on the dollars. By the time trade connections resumed, he had amassed a fortune. He built 2 ships and began an export business to the West Indies and to Europe. Because he was largely uneducated, his business sense was considered peculiar. He was inspired to send warming pans used to heat sheets in the cold New England winters for sale to the West Indies, a tropical area. His captain sold them as ladles for the local molasses industry and made a good profit. Next, Dexter sent wool mittens to the same place, where Asian merchants bought them for export to Siberia. People jokingly told him to ship coal to Newcastle. He did so during a miners' strike at the time, and his cargo was sold at a premium. At another time, practical jokers told him he could make money shipping gloves to the South Sea Islands. His ships arrived there in time to sell the gloves to Portuguese boats on their way to China. He exported Bibles to the East Indies and stray cats to Caribbean islands, and again made a profit. Eastern missionaries were in need of the Bibles, and the Caribbean welcomed a solution to rat infestation. He also hoarded whalebone by mistake, but ended up selling them profitably as a support material for corsets. Now here it gets a little bit more into his personal life. Members of the New England high society rarely socialized with him. Dexter decided to buy a huge house in Newburyport from Nathaniel Tracy, a local socialite, and tried to emulate him. His relationships with his wife, daughter, and son also suffered. This became evident when he started telling visitors that his wife had died, despite the fact that she was still alive, and that the woman who frequented the building was simply her ghost. In one notable episode, Dexter faked his own death to see how people would react. About 3,000 people attended Dexter's mock wake. Dexter did not see his wife cry, and after he revealed the hoax, he caned her for not grieving enough.
Wait. That's like the, what is it, Huckleberry Finn, or was it?
Yeah,
like,
I forget if it's Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn where he's looking down at his their own funeral, but I think in this one he reveals it and then beats her for not crying, which is a horrible thing.
Jesus.
So now it says Dexter also bought an estate in Chester, New Hampshire. He decorated his house in Newburyport with minarets, a gold eagle on the top of the cupola, a mausoleum for himself, and a garden of 40 wooden statues of famous men, including George Washington, William Pitt, Napoleon Bonaparte, Thomas Jefferson, and himself. It had the inscription, "I am the first in the East, the first in the West, and the greatest philosopher in the Western world."
What an ego.
Age 50, Dexter wrote a book about himself, A Pickle for the Knowing Ones, or Plain Truth in a Homespun Dress, in which he also complained about politicians, the clergy, and his wife. The book contained 8,847 words and 33,864 letters, but no punctuation, and its capitalization seemed random. At first he handed out his book for free, but it became popular and was reprinted for sale 8 times. In the second edition, Dexter added an extra page which consisted of 13 lines of punctuation marks with the instructions that readers should distribute them as they pleased.
Oh,
So
what a
it
wit.
seems like, yeah, it's kind of cute, right?
Everything about this guy is adorable.
Well, then the beating the wife part is not adorable. It would be adorable if he just,
Berated her or something.
yeah, if he just made a big scene, but the beating her is pretty unforgivable. But very funny.
Yeah, he seems like a real... He's like doing a lot of shit for just ego cred.
It seems like he has a big problem with his wife because he's
constantly complaining about her. Yeah,
he's telling tall tales, saying that she's a ghost, that she's dead, and the woman that they see is actually a ghost.
He's like one of the fucking Lockhorns. Like, you remember that? Like that. You know
you mean
I
the single panel gag comic?
No, he's like a total, like fucking Al Bundy or something. Like, oh, and you should see my wife. What a bitch. Like, it's just ridiculous.
It's like, I guess he's like in the tradition of like a Henny Youngman.
Yeah. The W.C. Fields, I feel like he made those kinds of jokes.
I think also like Honeymooners has a guy who's not good to his wife.
Yeah, totally. It's like the original, like pissed off husband, abusive husband, like comedic stereotype. Like,
well, the bad husband with the suffering wife.
Yeah, long suffering wife.
I do like the fact that his book complains about in addition to politicians and the clergy, his wife. I think that's funny.
Mm-hmm. It's like, it's all just petty shit. It's like, I tell you why I hate the mayor. He's just like my wife. He's a,
it's funny, like personal grudges mixed in with like political philosophy.
Yeah.
Very, very, very funny individual.
How'd you find this guy? Like,
it was under a list of people that faked their own death.
Oh, good list. Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed like a lot of them were not funny. It was like people that were avoiding crimes,
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Like,
yeah.
Now, I was listening to something like this other. Don't listen to other podcasts, but I was listening to Spycast. Is about like spies and shit. And they're talking about a guy who was saying that, a lot of people ask me, they want to vanish, but they're just fucking around. Like, it's actually like really painful to like cut yourself off from your family and like, you know what I mean? Like, you can never go on social media again and stuff. Like, it takes something. You really need a reason, it seems like.
Well, they said that was another thing, a guy who faked his own death. I think to collect on insurance, but then like there was a thing, like a photo popped up of him on Google of him buying a house, like in some other country.
Oops.
But I guess Timothy Dexter didn't have to worry about that.
I think I've heard like it used to be a thing that you could actually take out a life insurance policy on somebody else. Like, people used to do it to like ship captains. You know what I mean? It was kind of like, but they stopped doing it. It's like, you can't do that shit. Like, you're essentially just gambling on whether or not this guy's going to die or not. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like like life insurance. It's only supposed to be on yourself or, like a family member or like someone that has like a vested interest in whether or not the person lives.
Apparently it used to be just free reign though. You could do it to strangers, which is crazy when you think about it. Like, it's like a murder.
Yeah, that does just seem like you should just go to like a bookkeeper for that. Like a bookkeeper that specializes in like death pools.
It was interesting to me that they would do it to guys with like ship captains who had like really dangerous jobs though. Like, there's this whole market of people just betting on their survivability. Like, that's just insane to me. Like, think about that.
Yeah. Well,
It's cool. It's real cool.
I wonder if I mean if it's a case of them stopping it because it became unprofitable for the insurer or for the insurance company. I mean that's imaginable, but it'd be like
I'm sure it was moral though. It was like, you guys can't fucking do this. Like, this is just like, at least not legally, you know what I mean? Not like in an authorized way.
Yeah, well, it'd be weird if it was like a government thing that said like you can't do it, but it was actually like, it'd be weird if it was profitable for like insurance companies to like do like a high stakes payout or high stakes, you know, policy on someone you didn't personally know.
Right.
I wonder what like the premiums on that would be.
Yeah, I should look. I'd be curious to know what it really was, because like I could see it being morally, but I could see it also being like, but I don't know, being a bookie, whatever. For that, bookmark that one for next time. That's I'd like to know more about the history of insurance in general.
What I know bookkeepers in like England, they can take bets on who will become the next president in America. Like you legally can't do it here because it's against the law, but like it's a thing in the UK. Like
Vegas odds, you can do that like legally. It's interesting.
Yeah, and apparently it's like a somewhat popular thing. It's, you know, it's all right with me.
I don't really see it being, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to know all the details, but for something about that seems like fairly harmless. I mean, it's pretty amoral in a way, but like, it seems pretty
well, yeah, it's not. Though. I mean, any gambling is not necessarily all gambling is pretty amoral. It's not like immoral though. It's not like morally wrong to do it.
No, its biggest crime is poor taste, without a doubt. I think, like, which isn't really a crime.
I don't see anything wrong with like taking out a life insurance on a policy on a ship captain. That doesn't offend me morally.
Yeah, it's just kind of like ridiculous. All right, let's get to my my article.
Go for it.
It's a video game called Chiller. It was released by Exidy in 1986, which is also the year I was born. It's a light gun arcade game. An unlicensed port was released by Nintendo in 1990, and then it was released in the US and Australia with the option of either the standard controller or your classic NES Zapper. The player takes the role of an unseen torturer who must maim, mutilate, and murder helpless enemies in a variety of dungeon settings. Few of the enemies in the game are capable of fighting back, with the challenge element lying in how quickly the player could cause each of the victims to die. The game sold poorly in the United States because arcade owners refused to purchase it. Exidy successfully, however, marketed it to third world countries. Modern gamers often criticize the game for its senseless violence and encouraging the torture and murder of apparently innocent people, as opposed to the gamer finding enemies capable of defending themselves. Just to give you an overview, the game consists of a series of screens representing various dungeon and horror movie settings. Most screens feature helpless enemies bound or restrained by a variety of medieval torture devices. The player must figure out how to kill every enemy in as short amount of time as possible. Although it is possible to simply shoot them to death, this process takes considerable amount of time, and even headshots simply result in chunks of flesh and bone being blown away, leaving the enemies alive. Rather, the challenge lies in finding ways to activate the various torture devices, resulting in quicker, bloodier deaths. For each screen, shooting all available targets gives a player a bonus shooting round. The game features a ghost counter on-screen scoring system named the Ectoplasmic Tabulator. It has a very similar gameplay to Crossbow and other related Exidy 440 board system games. And I'll just give a little more further detail. Here's some of the levels. The Torture Chamber. Players shoot enemies, restrain, and torture devices. Special bonus points for shooting a pillory guillotine, which cuts off an enemy's head and hands, crushing an enemy's head in a head crusher, or unearthing a skeleton walled up in the dungeon. Spoiler alert. In the arcade version, if waiting long enough after shooting enemy body parts, flies and crows are attracted to the bloody severed limbs. There's a graveyard, which features an open grave leading to hell, while zombies rise out of the graves. Periodically, a monk with a body cart runs back and forth across the screen. The NES version has a storyline that attempts to soften the implications of the violence by saying all the enemies are monsters. Back in the Middle Ages, a castle on the outskirts of town had been invaded by an evil force which is causing the dead to come back to life. You need to stop this force before it can create a large army and take over the town. Each level also has 8 talismans hidden in it. You need to find and destroy these to stop these monsters from appearing. So yeah.
This was an arcade game?
Yes, it was a light gun arcade game that was ported for cartridge.
To NES?
Yes.
I would imagine it was not it didn't have that Nintendo seal of approval, though.
No, it's apparently, Exidy third-party developer, so. It was, American game cartridges in the U.S. and HES, home entertainment suppliers in Australia. So it is kind of like these third-party cartridge producers. It was probably not NES.
Do they have screen? Like, do they have like screenshots of it?
Yeah, that's why I picked it. It like every time I see it, it's just like, what the fuck is that? Like, it just does not look sane. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even in like a horror game context, it looks fucking crazy. Like, you know.
God. It sounds pretty tasteless.
Oh, incredibly.
And you said it was marketed to third world countries?
Yeah, that's the part that kind of like took me aback. Like, it's like what do you mean? Like, what countries?
Very odd.
It's like where it's they had to have still had NESs enough to have like a valid market, but it's kind of.
I guess if they had arcades, that could like you don't need like that could just be in like a like a bar or something.
Yeah. Right. And it's kind of, I'll just go there with it. This is essentially like a NES Snuff game. You know what I mean? It's like nothing redeeming about it. Like, I guess there's shit like Manhunt and stuff later. And like,
that was also heavily decried, wasn't it?
I guess so. Yeah, probably more so. People are probably more aware of Manhunt than they were of this.
Yeah. Well, Manhunt was definitely, that went through like official channels. It was possible this was just,
Yeah, third party, kind of close to homegrown, kind of. It's essentially just an arcade, shoot 'em up arcade gallery, so probably it's not even that sophisticated mechanically, programmatically speaking. You know what I mean? It probably was just some pet project by these guys.
Well,
I don't know. It's kind of interesting though. Like,
are there any like memes of it? Do you know if there are any memes of it anywhere?
Name? Wait, say again.
MAME. Isn't that the emulator? MAME?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there probably definitely is. If it was... Well, shit, you could probably get it for an NES emulator, Oh, I was going to say, too, I guess NES tried to do this, or whoever tried to do this, who said that thing that they're all really monsters. Like, in Manhunt, there kind of is, like, a storyline that justifies it. Like, right? Like, isn't it like you're a kidnapped guy in the middle of this new reality show game where all the other enemies are convicted murderers? It kind of gives you this bullshit context for essentially a Snuff game. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's that sort of thing. I forget the storyline of Manhunt, but it is like there's like a narrator talking you through it.
Right. And like all the guys you kill are trying to kill you. You know what I mean? Like this seems different to me because it's like,
well, you're just the torturer.
Yeah, it's just straight sadism. There's like no, like, you know what I mean? Like, because even with the NES thing, like, oh, they're all monsters. You're still like essentially torturing like monsters. You know, like it's like it's kind of sadistic no matter how you paint it.
Well, maybe you can find a version of it and play it, and then let us know how it is in the next episode.
Yeah, 5 stars. I know it's gonna be great.
All right. Well, sounds good to me. I'll wait to hear it. So I've got another one for you. Śmigus-Dyngus. Are you familiar with this? Śmigus-Dyngus?
No, I am not.
It's possible it's Śmigus-Dyngus. I'm not sure, but I'm going to say Śmigus-Dyngus. Śmigus-Dyngus is a celebration held on Easter Monday in Poland and Ukraine. It is also observed by Polish diaspora communities, particularly among Polish Americans. Traditionally, boys throw water over girls and spank them with pussy willow branches on Easter Monday, and girls do the same to boys on Easter Tuesday. This is accompanied by a number of other rituals, such as making verse declarations and holding door-to-door processions. In some regions involving boys dressed as bears. Festival is traditionally celebrated by boys throwing water over girls they like and spanking them with pussy willows. Boys would sneak into girls' homes at daybreak on Easter Monday and throw containers of water over them while they were still in bed. After all the water was thrown, the screaming girls would often be dragged to a nearby river or pond for another drenching. Sometimes a girl would be carried out, still in her bed, before both bed and girl were thrown into the water together. Particularly attractive girls could expect to be soaked repeatedly during the day.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know. It's very, like... It's a lot like a sexual assault, it seems, but... I
mean, pretty much. Like, did you say, like, it's around Easter this happens? It seems like
Easter,
some fucking...
Easter Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It says, the use of water is said to evoke the spring rains needed to ensure a successful harvest later in the year.
Yeah, there's kind of, like, pagan fertility, like, overtones to it. You know what I mean?
It says it may date to pagan times.
Yeah. It seems like this was a cultural thing, probably prior to Easter. Like,
girls could save themselves from a soaking by giving boys ransoms of painted eggs, regarded as magical charms that would bring good harvests, successful relationships, and healthy childbirths. Although, in theory, the girls were supposed to wait until the following day to get their revenge by soaking the boys, in practice, both sexes throw water over each other on the same day. And then, like, it's very, like, there's chanting and stuff. Pussy willow appears to have been adopted as an alternative to the palm leaves used elsewhere in Easter celebrations, which were not obtainable in Poland. They were blessed by priests on Palm Sunday, following which parishioners whipped each other with the pussy willow branches, saying, "It's not me who strikes, the willow strikes. In a week, Holy Week, in 6 nights, Easter." The pussy willows were then treated as sacred charms that could prevent lightning strikes, protect animals, and encourage honey production. They were believed to bring health and good fortune to people as well, and it was traditional for 3 pussy willow buds to be swallowed on Palm Sunday to promote good health. I guess then they would the boy like following the dousing with the water. The boys would climb onto roofs and beat a tin pan and announce which girls were to be doused, along with how many wagon loads of sand, how much water, and how much soap would be used on each girl. It's very odd.
Sounds fucking annoying.
Yeah, I would not like it at all. I would not like being the girl being doused with the water. And I don't like the idea of it happening, but maybe I'm being culturally insensitive.
No, fuck that. It's like fraternity shit. It's like
it's very unnerving, the idea of sneaking into someone's bedroom at night.
Yeah, I'm surprised that this didn't lead to like serious violence and shit, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe it did. Maybe that's why I stopped doing it.
No, they still do it.
Oh, they still do it. Oh, I see.
Dingus Day is observed in many Polish American communities, most notably in Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo does this shit? Jesus Christ.
Also celebrating Cleveland and in South Bend, Indiana, and surrounding region.
I've never heard of this shit.
It's very weird. And then like it says like also the American ones incorporate like American traditions. So I guess like flags and stuff.
Oh, I see.
I
mean, is this specifically only in Polish communities or like Slavic communities where this happens? Like,
it says it's in Poland and Ukraine, and then in Polish communities, mainly in America.
Okay. Yeah, you said dysphoria. Yeah, that's right.
It lists a number of famous people that have been involved in American Śmigus-Dyngus celebrations.
Śmigus-Dyngus?
Smigus-Dyngus. Śmigus-Dyngus.
It sounds like the name of a guy that would be like really into it. Like
it sounds like a very fake thing.
Yeah.
But here's who was involved in it in America. The late Robert F. Kennedy. I guess those are the only ones. Bill Clinton was involved in one. Those are the two big people involved in it. Bill
Wood.
Yeah. He wants to get those girls wet.
I didn't know he was Polish.
No, neither of them were. It was like, they were like guests.
No, that's right.
So.
Well, I think any celebrators of Dingus should be immediately thrown into jail. It's just sexual harassment. Either way, women too. If women throwing water on men, straight to jail.
I would say do it in good fun. Don't go into someone's bedroom. Maybe shoot somebody with a water gun. That seems like it'd be okay, right?
Yeah. I don't like the idea. Like maybe if it's like your thing, like family, like within like kind of like safe people. I like the idea of like strangers.
You have to do it to girls you're attracted to.
Oh fuck! So maybe.
So that's the weird thing is that you're going into the bedroom of a girl you. It's supposed to be like showing that you're like you have interest in the girl.
I see. It's almost like a Valentine's Day, giving you a Valentine's Day card or something.
Yeah, but instead you throw them in the river.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fake thing that would be used to like mock Polish people, doesn't it?
It's like the Polish Tea Party. They're just doing it to make Poles look bad.
You know what it should be? It's with a water gun, and if you want to be involved in it, you wear like a certain item of clothing that signify that you're game. But otherwise, you don't do it to somebody, and you don't go in their bedroom. I would not care for that at all.
I think that's very practical. I mean, but you would probably get like if it was like I don't know, if it was like a red shirt, there might be some poor victim who had no idea about the dingus who wore a red shirt or something.
It would have to be some weird like a hat or like a pin, like a button or pin or something.
Something you couldn't mistake. Yeah.
Or maybe you wear the pussy willow branch, like you pin it to your clothes.
Yeah. Like, I accept this stupid bullshit.
Yeah, we could do our own version of it.
Well, the only kind of dingus I like is consensual dingus, so.
No, that's fair. I mean, if we have the pins on, then it's no way that, we can only do it to other pin wearers.
Yes. I sign my petition, civilize my dingus. Please join my civilized dingus.
And, like, do you think, like, it was a thing, like they sneak into the girls' bedrooms? Do you think it's a thing, like, they got permission from the parents to do it? Like,
I mean, if it's, like, a thing that, like, everybody's in on, then you would assume so. It's like, oh, yeah, come on in. But what about if it was, like, a suitor that the parents really didn't like? I feel like I guess
that's a good way to be like, like, no, you don't have permission to drench my daughter.
Right.
A good, it's a good way for the suitor. It's a horrible thing in general, it seems to me, but I guess if it's a suitor, it's a good way of knowing if the father's okay.
Yeah.
All
or
around.
Or if he approves of you, yeah.
I shouldn't just say father. That seems like a sexist statement, but the parent.
Well, it seems how old are the participants usually? Did you say they're like teenagers typically, or like what's the age range?
Yeah, teenagers.
It's just teenagers.
You wouldn't do it to your wife or husband.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe that's part of the thing, though. Maybe like tee-hee.
Yeah, maybe for fun, but
yeah.
Or maybe it's a thing like you do it to like. It just says boys and girls. It doesn't say what age.
I mean, it's like the image that it conjures up is just like horny teenagers are throwing water at each other. The old man's chasing the wife around with a pussy willow. The whole thing just seems like fucking making Poles look bad. You look like fucking idiots.
Yeah, it really does not seem real at all.
No, yeah, it seems like a scene from like a shitty sex comedy. You know what I mean? Like,
they've got a really, really good picture on Wikipedia called "Soaking a Polish Girl on Śmigus-Dyngus," and they're wearing like traditional clothing, and like one guy's restraining a girl. And the other guy's he's about to throw the bucket of water onto her, but it's like very old-timey looking.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. The postcard. The whole thing is very unnerving.
I remember it reminds me like when I was a kid, or well not a kid, it was probably a little older. We used to go to this Italian restaurant. I would go with my parents, and there was this like photograph on the wall of this woman, like young, pretty woman walking, and it's like all the men on the street are kind of whistling or looking at her, and it's supposed to be kind of like this slice of life from old Italy kind of thing, or old world, old Europe or something, you know what I mean? And like, my mom just fucking hated it. It was just like, she was so mad when she'd see it. And like, it seems like just more of that shit. You know, it's just like this old European like sexism. Like,
would she get a seat where the, like her back was facing it so she wouldn't have to look at it?
No, I mean, it was nothing that intense, but I just remember like her talking about it like frequently when we go there. And I mean, I get it. Like, it's totally like, you know, and especially to kind of present it as like, oh, it's just crazy. You know, it's just the old country. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
it kind of sounds like a Paul Cadmus, painting.
I think it was a photo. I'm pretty sure it was a photo. Which
was
is kind
photo?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know if it was staged or if it. I mean, it looked old, so it probably was staged. But still, like, the implications are pretty vile. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Good food, though?
Oh, yeah. Well, Italian. Can't go wrong.
No, it doesn't. All right, well.
My opinion.
Maybe if I'm ever in the area, I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'll have to ask her what that place was. I don't think it was just like an Olive Garden or something. I think it was like a local place. You know what I mean? Like, it may have been though. Yeah.
But isn't it like very corporate decorating? I don't think like Olive Garden would want to put up a sensational poster like that.
No, but it's not like, you know, it's one of those things where it's kind of not meant to be sensational. So that's what's kind of more like, even more kind of like bizarre about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of interesting though. Anyway, so, all right. Would you like to move on to the next one?
Go for it.
Okay. So this is kind of an interesting one. The threefold death. The threefold death, which is suffered by kings, heroes, and gods, is putatively Proto-Indo-European theme. Although it is attested in medieval accounts of Celtic and Germanic mythology and archaeologically attested from ancient bodies such as the Linlow Man. Some of the proponents for the tri-functional hypothesis distinguish two types of threefold deaths in Indo-European myth and ritual. In the first type of threefold death, one person dies simultaneously in three ways. He dies by hanging, drowning, or poison, and by wounding. These three deaths are foretold, and often punishment is for an offense against the three functions of Indo-European society. The second form of the threefold death is split into three distinct parts. These distinct deaths are sacrifices to the three distinct gods of the three functions. So, let me give some examples. Merlin. In a Welsh legend, Merlin is associated with the threefold death. As a test of his skill, he is asked to prophesy how a boy will die. He says the boy will fall from a rock. The same boy with a change of clothes is presented again, and Merlin prophesies that he will hang. Then, dressed in girl's clothes, the boy is presented, and Merlin replies, "Woman or no, he will drown." As a young man later, the victim, in a hunt, falls from a rock, is caught in a tree, hanging head down in a lake, drowns. I know. Merlin also reportedly prophesied his own death, which by falling, stabbing, and drowning. This was fulfilled when a gang of jeering shepherds drove him off a cliff, where he was impaled on a stake and died with his head below water. So, Odin, the Norse god, has also been associated with the threefold death. Human sacrifices to Odin were hanged from trees. Odin is said to have hanged himself in order to learn the secrets of magic. It's like autoerotic asphyxiation. It's the only way to learn the secrets of magic. The tarot card known as the Hangman is sometimes identified with Odin in the threefold death. Let's see. There's a couple more examples. There's a Celtic one. Let's see. I mean, everybody knows kind of the Rasputin thing, too.
Yeah.
He was shot, stabbed, and poisoned. All right, here's another interesting one. In the Encyclopedia of Indo-European Culture cites several more examples of myths that have evidence of a conjunction of trifunctional signs and death modes. In the myth of Starcad, King Viker is hanged or strangled by the waterside while pierced by a reed that turns into a spear. King Agamemnon is stabbed in his bath while caught in a net. Siegfried is killed by a weapon while drinking from a spring near a tree so that the hanging and drowning things remain, is more suggestions in that one. Yeah, so it's kind of this thing that pops up here and again.
Why? I know there's a like an urban legend about a a guy who wants to commit suicide. So he decides to like ensure that it takes place. He takes like an overdose of pills.
Mm-hmm.
He's on like a cliff with a tree on it. He takes an overdose of pills. Or he's like at a tree and there's like a lake under, like a tree overlooking a lake. Takes the pills. He ties in. He goes up in the tree. He ties a rope around his neck. And he has a gun with him. And so he has a gun in his hand. He jumps off. He jumps off the branch. And the jolt from the thing makes him fire the gun. The gun fires up and shoots the rope. The rope breaks. He falls into the lake. And then he starts. He like gets too much water, and he coughs up all the pills he took. So he tries to do a threefold death, but because of the combination he's averted. It's averted.
It seems like that's like directly referencing shit like this. That's interesting.
Well, I guess that's like what urban legends are supposed to be. It's supposed to be, you know, like folklore or folk belief in like a contemporary setting. Right. I'm no folklorist though, so.
There's something funny about the Threefold though, because it is kind of like, it's like cartoonish, you know what I mean? It's like, I slipped on a banana, split my head open, and a dog ate my brain. You know, it's just like real, like silly almost. Like
it seems like a way like a kid would come up of how someone dies.
Right. Like it's just like kind of silly. Like it's funny.
Now, do they have any real life examples?
I do not believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the closest thing I don't even think it's on the article is the Rasputin actually, and that's like the closest thing I can think of. And I mean,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that an exaggeration of what happened though?
Yeah, and I think like it's like he actually lived through most of it. You know what I mean? It's like something got him eventually.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Wait, what?
No, what were you gonna say?
There is this section at the bottom where they talk about the Bog Bodies. They say that they're. I mean, this is kind of a whole separate article, but I'll just try to go over the highlights of it. There are estimated 18,000 known Bog Bodies in Europe.
Did you say Bog Bodies?
Bog Bodies, yes. These are bodies found in the bog.
Yeah.
The study of the Bog Bodies, including those found in Lindo Moss, have contributed to a wider understanding of well-preserved human remains to develop new methods in analysis and investigation. You know, so they found, like 18,000 of these. I guess they're saying that there were some examples of overkill in a bog body, meaning that it was an extravagant for a straightforward murder. So I guess they're saying that maybe some of these had these, like, you know, bones are broken and necks you know what I mean? It's just kind of like...
Well, that could be like just a very severe beating, right?
Right. Yeah, the jury is out on these bodies, whether they were aristocrats, priests, criminals, outsiders, or whether they willingly went to their own deaths, or whether they were executed. But Lindau is a very remote place and is an unlikely place for an ambush or a murder. I actually read about the Linlow man and the Bog Bodies. I was looking into human sacrifice. It's like they don't know where all these bodies came from, but there's this there's weird, you know what I mean, like. They were in a weird state. You know, they weren't just like, it doesn't seem like they were just throwing people in there because they died of old age. Like they all seem kind of killed in strange ways. So It's weird.
That's the most famous bog body, right?
Yeah, the Lindau man.
That's the like he's the most well preserved and like the one that you see all the time when like bog people come up.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah. They look pretty cool.
Well, that's like what I don't know. There's like some kind of acid or something in the bogs that like really preserves their shape. Like they can still kind of tell their facial structures.
Maybe like saltpeter or something.
Yeah. It's like right. I saw some of the pictures and like they do almost look like not like not dead, but like much better than like mummies or anything else like that.
Yeah.
Strange.
I guess I think a bog person would be a good enemy in like a game, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of what is it like a putrid zombie or something like putrid corpse, like.
Yeah, but I mean like more like the bog people. I don't know. That's just me. Trying to use it as an idea.
I mean, I don't want to go on too deep a tangent, but I have thought about like zombies are like weird characters to me. Like it seems like a person that dies in the desert and becomes a zombie would look very different from like a sailor's corpse, like underneath the water. Like I think that there's something to that. Like
a bloated zombie.
So, but if like one that's been underwater for like a really long time, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or like been in a dry place for a really long time, it would almost be two completely different monsters.
Well, the underwater one, that would just like disintegrate over time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose they all would, but
well, like a bog person would not.
I guess that's the thing; they'd be better preserved. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I just think like a bog. Like a ambulant bog person would be is an underused, figure in media, in fiction.
Get on it, future filmmakers.
Yeah, I know you haven't played Fallout 4 yet, but there are different types of ghouls. Like there's there's charred ghoul and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the old ones had a little bit of that. Probably not that. I don't remember charred though.
That might be the most like the most stark difference from the older ones, but I don't know. It does seem like there's a greater variety now of ghouls in Fallout.
I really support a wide variety of ghouls. Mm-hmm. I think that could be I've had ideas.
You mean in media, right? Not in real life.
Well, I mean, I don't advocate for any ghouls in real life, but if they are,
Albert Fish.
Let's see. We're getting into different. We're having a live action disambiguation.
Well, I think traditionally a ghoul is something that just eats like human flesh.
More right.
But isn't necessarily the same as like it's not a cannibal because it's its own thing,
Right. Now ghouls kind of ride the line. Like sometimes they're shown as undead, sometimes they're shown as like alive. They're like, but you could kind of accept them either way. Like they're right there. They're riding the fence.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the level of self-awareness.
Right.
But I think traditionally it's been a self-aware entity that eats the bodies of people.
Yeah. No, I think yeah. It's kind of like a corpse eating cannibal.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be a cannibal because it doesn't eat its own species. It eats humans.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But
do you want to play a game? Do you want to?
Yeah, sure.
do some more topics. All right, let me.
You have some good games. You have, I guess, a game.
Yeah, sure. So, actually, I've got some good short ones. Maybe we can get in more than one. Here's the first one. It's honorifics from popular music. So I'm going to read you an honorific title given to a musician, and you have to guess who the musician is.
So that would be like, I'm trying to think of, like Elvis would be the king.
Right. Like, who's the godfather of soul?
That would be James Brown, right?
Correct.
He's also the hardest working man in show business.
Yes, he's also the king of soul, soul brother number one, and Mr. Dynamite.
I didn't know Soul Brother number one or Mr. Dynamite.
These all known by all of those names in the United States.
Mm-hmm. And so this is only for musicians, right?
This is only musicians.
It wouldn't be like Babe Ruth is the Sultan of SWAT.
No, that would be under athletic honorifics.
All right. Go on. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So I'm going to try to pick only ones that I know you're going to know. All right. Who is known as the King of Glam?
Is that David Bowie?
Correct.
All right. He just died.
That's right. Also known as the Bastard of Reinvention.
Okay, that one makes sense.
All right. Who is the King of Country?
Is it Hank Williams?
Later.
Hank Williams Jr.?
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks, oh God.
You don't have to necessarily agree with these.
No, I know.
All right, here's an easy one, I think. Who's Slow Hand?
What?
Who is Slow Hand?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, it's Eric Clapton.
Okay.
Hold on, let me think.
My stepdad likes Eric Clapton.
Who is the god of folk, or the crown prince of folk?
It's not like James Taylor, is it?
Bob Dylan.
Okay, he's good. He's much better than James Taylor.
All right, this one's pretty ridiculous. Who is the king of hip-hop?
Jay-Z?
Eminem.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, who is the king of the blues?
King of the blues?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it like, can you give me a hint, like a time period?
Not the oldest. He's a later guy. I'll give you three guesses.
Is it Muddy Waters?
It's not Muddy Waters.
I don't know.
I'll give you two more guesses. Just throw some names out.
Of blues?
Yeah.
Who's a very popular... Oh, it's B.B. King.
No.
Not B.B. King. He would be like the most well-known, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I feel like all these titles are highly debatable.
I gotta think of who's like who would be big in blues. It wouldn't be Albert King then.
No.
Is it the black guy, right? It's not like some.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
no, it's not like the king of hip hop's Eminem. It's not another gotcha one.
It's not like Stevie Ray Vaughan or something.
No. That'd be very, very stupid.
Yeah, all the kings are white.
Right.
That's why King of Pop Michael Jackson had to become white.
Right.
I give up. Who is it?
John Lee Hooker.
Oh, really? All right. Well, he's good.
Yeah, he's good. Let me see.
I like Catfish.
Yeah. Now, what the hell? There's another one. I can't remember. Anyway, who's the high priestess of pop?
High priestess of pop?
Yes.
Oh, God, I have no idea. Is it Madonna?
Correct.
Oh, all right.
Who is the pop punk princess?
Pop punk?
Princess.
Is it like Avril Lavigne?
Correct.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm throwing you a few softballs. Let me see. Who's the architect of rock and roll?
Architect. Is it some weird
Mm-mm.
architect?
I'll give you 2 guesses.
Uh-huh. 2 guesses. Can you give me a time period? Like, tell me how, if it's, like, super old or super recent?
Kind of neither. More recent, I guess, in, like, the grand scheme of things. Might still be alive. I can't remember, though.
I don't know. That's interesting. That's an interesting title, though.
He's also known as the king of rock and roll, but it's not Elvis.
Not Elvis. Is it like, would it be like, Jerry Lee Lewis?
No.
You said it's more recent, though.
I would say about the same, similar time, maybe a little later than Jerry Lewis.
That's not recent at all, because that's like early rock and roll.
Yeah, no, this is, yeah. I'll give you a hint. It's a black guy.
Oh, is it Chuck Berry?
Wrong. Little Richard.
All right. That's weird. The architect for Little Richard. Little
Richard is very highly regarded. He's very good.
No, I'm not saying he's not good, but you'd think Chuck Berry would be like more of the architect.
Or like, what's the beat? There's that beat, the famous beat.
I don't know that sort of thing.
The Bo Diddley.
Yeah, Bo
beat.
Diddley.
Yeah.
But that's Bo Diddley. That's not Little Richard.
No, I know, but like I feel like Bo Diddley could be. He seems like he could be considered an architect as well.
Yeah.
All right. So, who is the king of reggae?
Is it Bob Marley?
Correct. So
what if I said it was God? I can't think. What if it was like is it Peter Tosh?
It's Justin Timberlake. Hold on. Let me see. I got
my aunt really likes Ziggy Marley, or at least she did when I was a kid.
Who?
Ziggy Marley.
Oh, Ziggy. That's right. Yeah, you always hear about him too.
Yeah, that was one of the sons that wasn't Damien.
All right, let me throw. Wait, what?
Go on. Are there more?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm kind of starting to run out of good ones. Let me see. Okay, who? Hold on. I had 1 or 2 more good ones.
Okay.
Who is the Queen of Broadway?
Queen of Broadway. Is that Ethel Merman?
No. One more guess.
Can you say if they're alive or dead?
May have just died. I think last I heard still alive.
I don't know.
Liza Minnelli.
Oh, all right. That makes sense.
All right. Who's the godmother of punk?
Is it Debbie Harry?
No.
I don't know.
Who is it? It is.
I don't really know punk music that well.
It is. Who is it? Fuck. Just lost it. Oh, Joan Jett.
Okay, I probably should have gotten that one. All right. So those are the last two?
Yeah. I thought there was one in here that was like the Jewish Elvis. Like, who was that?
Who would that be?
Who was that? Yeah, the Jewish Elvis. Who is that?
The Jewish Elvis?
Yes.
It's someone I would know?
I think so. Yeah, I think you would.
I don't know. Who is it?
Neil Diamond.
Okay. He's not as good as Elvis.
Well, that's kind of an insider one. Like, I didn't fucking know Neil Diamond is Jewish. I don't feel like that's like common knowledge, really.
I think I know. Well, he was in that remake of The Jazz Singer.
Oh, was he?
Remember we talked about that?
Oh yeah, Krusty.
Well, no. When we talked about when we did our the Razzie Award worst movies.
Oh no, we also talked about The Jazz Singer in reference to Krusty the Clown's origin story.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of Jazz Singer related material.
I'm gonna have to see that.
Yeah, so it's a subject rife with talking points.
So many. This Jazz Singer links to all articles on YouTube. It's an unknown hub.
Yeah.
All right, you want to play one more quick game?
All right, one quick one.
All right. So, in the list of cities by murder rate, in the top 50, 4 of them are from the United States. Can you guess which 4 cities?
Detroit.
1. Yes.
How many are in Michigan?
I believe only 1.
Only Detroit, really?
Uh-huh.
Is one of them Dallas, Texas?
Incorrect.
How about Houston, Texas?
Incorrect.
All right. Are either of them Texas?
No.
All right. Is New Orleans one of them?
Correct. So you got Detroit and New Orleans. What are the other 2? You might not know these.
Is it like Chicago? Well, I would know Chicago. Is it like an Illinois city?
No.
Is it a Texas city?
No.
A Florida city?
No.
Is it Oakland, California?
Incorrect.
Is it in California?
Incorrect. I'll give you a hint. One's on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it Newark?
No.
Baltimore?
Correct. Only one more to go.
What region is that one in?
The last one?
Yeah.
South. Or actually Midwest. It's pretty much smack dab in the Midwest.
Is it in it's not in Illinois, you said.
Nope.
Is it Gary, Indiana?
Nope. I feel like that was the murder capital of the United States though at one point.
Is it in Kentucky?
No.
Is it in Ohio?
No.
What is it? I can't guess.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's kind of a curveball.
Yeah, that's kind of like South, but I guess that's Midwest also.
All right. So, of the top 50 most violent cities, 21 of these cities are in one country. Can you guess what country that is?
No, I can't. It'd have to be a big country.
Give it a shot.
Is it in South America?
Yes. Getting hot.
Is it Brazil?
Correct.
Okay.
It's towering over, has 21 cities in the top 50 most violent cities, and that beats even the closest by more than half. So Brazil is a huge country, though. So
yeah, it is. Well, it's not as big as America, though.
It's pretty big, though. All right, let me throw one more. What?
What, you have one more game?
Yeah. Billionaires, cities of numbers of billionaires. Which city has the most billionaires on Earth, and how many do you think there are?
Oh, God. What city?
Yeah.
Is it New York?
No.
Is it in America?
No.
Is it London?
Correct. How many?
Okay. Is it 10?
Too low.
20.
Too low.
Really? 50?
Too low.
Jesus Christ, billionaires?
Yes. Yeah, I know. It's kind of nuts.
That's crazy to have like that many billionaires in one place. I guess, is it 100?
No, that's too many. It's 80.
Well, that's way more than I would have thought.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Jam-packed with billionaires.
Okay, how many billionaires do you think New York City has?
New York City has?
Yeah.
Is it... Well, if London has 80, I'm going to guess 20 for New York.
Wrong. Too low.
40?
Too low. 56.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't realize that there were that many billionaires in general.
I know. I agree. Like,
I mean, it's not far-fetched for there to be, 100 or 200 billionaires, but for big cities to have dozens and dozens of billionaires?
Guess how many San Francisco has?
35.
49.
Shit, that's a lot. That makes sense though, because that's like tech.
Yeah, Silicon Valley and shit. Yeah.
I guess these all make sense because they're all like big.
Yeah.
It'd be weird if it was like Jacksonville, Florida had, 14 billionaires.
Right. Like.
Yeah. I know. Warren Buffett lives in Omaha.
So Omaha has one.
Omaha has at least one billionaire.
How many do you think Moscow has?
35.
45.
Oh shit! So it's very close to San Francisco.
Right.
All right. Well.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I got. I could keep going. You know what I mean? Like, how many do you think Beijing has? But you get the gist. Like,
well, what has more, Beijing or Hong Kong?
What do you think?
Well, you said Beijing, so I'm going to guess Beijing.
Wrong. Hong Kong. Hong Kong has 43. Beijing has 27.
Yeah, I initially would have thought Hong Kong, but you were like, it seemed like you were going down a list, so I assumed it was Beijing was going to be next.
Who do you think has more billionaires, Mumbai or Paris?
Mumbai.
Yep, they have 27. Paris has 21.
All right. Now, does it have a link anywhere on how to become a billionaire?
Well, there is connected lists of people by wealth, so we could take it from them.
Can we have an episode that's us cold calling billionaires for either an investment opportunity or for just free money in general?
I bet the cold calling Wikipedia article does have that information in there.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind getting $1 billion. I think that'd be pretty fun.
Well, I'm trying to just increase the number in Queens.
Mm-hmm. Queens, I'm assuming, is counted within that. That 59 billionaires figure. Right?
See, I hope that there is an article out there that breaks down where all 56 of the New York billionaires live, which boroughs, and their street address.
How many do you think are in Staten Island?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's something I'd really want to know. Like, I mean, because your layman would assume Manhattan. I mean, that seems like the most obvious, but
yeah,
you never know, though.
No, I don't know if they're. I know that the billionaire that lives in a tent at the base of the Empire State Building officially lives in New Jersey. So
he doesn't count as one of the 56.
No, he doesn't count. That's a trivia piece.
Oh, so you good? You want to do any other?
I got work I have to do, man. It's already 9:40.
Oh, we did a good length. You want to sign out?
Yeah, it sounds good. All right. Well, I'm your host, Joe. This has been the Wikifiends.
I'm David. See you later.
Bye.